hardness. When you press different materials with your hands, some of them may be hard to compress while others can be easily compressed. Yes, try to compress the materials. How do we say that this material is hard or this material is soft? We try to compress them. We try to press against our hands and then we see whether they are soft or not, they are hard or not. Yeah. So take a metal key and try to scratch with it. Right? And what are you scratching to? You are scratching the different surfaces. That is, for example, you are scratching the surface of a piece of wood, aluminium, a piece of a stone, right? A piece of wood, aluminium, a piece of stone, a nail, a candle, chalk, any other material or object. You can easily scratch some material, okay? You can easily scratch some material while some cannot be scratched, right? Some cannot be scratched because they are very, very hard. They are not scratched, right? So now please underline, this is going to be the definition of the material like soft and hard. So materials which can be compressed or scratched easily are called soft. Okay? Materials which can be compressed or scratched easily are called soft. Okay? While some other materials which are difficult to compress are called hard. While some other materials which are difficult to compress are called hard. For example, cotton or sponge is soft while iron is hard. Okay? Cotton or sponge is soft while iron is hard. So in appearance, materials can have different properties. What are the different properties a material can have? They can be luster, hardness, rough or smooth. Okay? So just appearance wise, what can you see? Okay? So it can have luster, hardness, rough, smooth. Can you think of other properties that describes the appearance of a material? Yes, can you think of it? Just think about it. Moving ahead, soluble or insoluble. Okay, children, so we'll see that we all know, right, whether it is soluble or not, whether it is insoluble. We put it into the water, stir it and see if it disappears, soluble. If it remains and floats, insoluble. Yeah, if it remains in the water, whether it floats or it doesn't float, it sinks, but it does not disappear, it means it is not soluble. Okay, it's insoluble. So let's start activity number 4. Collect samples of some solid substances such as sugar, salt, chalk powder, sand and sawdust. Sawdust is the wood powder. Take 5 glasses or beakers. So here you know at your home 5 glasses must be available, right? Fill each one of them about 2/3 with water. Okay. Add small amount or the spoonful of sugar to the first glass. Okay, what are we adding? Sugar, 1 spoon full sugar to the first glass, salt to the second. Similarly, add small amount of other substances into the other glasses, whatever you get, sand, sawdust, whatever you have, atta, flour, and whatever you see in the kitchen or anywhere, and you want to test whether it is soluble or not soluble, you just take it in a glass, put a few amount, like you put a spoonful and start stirring. Stir the contents. Stir it. Stir means mix it nicely. Okay. Of each one of them with a spoon. Wait for a few minutes. Observe what happens to the substances. Okay. Added to water. Observe what happens to the substances added to water. Now, what happened to the substance? Does it remain in the water after stirring, or it disappears after some time? Note your observation as shown in table 4.3. So here you can see what disappears, what doesn't. Some things they are disappeared completely. Yeah, and here you can see the objects. Here nothing is seen. Everything is gone in this picture. Here you can see what these things are available. These things are still visible here, right? So moving ahead, mixing different solid materials into water. So you can see this table 4.3. Children, you have to keep adding all of them which are available. Instead of chalk powder, you can use atta. If you have chalk powder, it's fine. It's best. So sawdust, chalk dust. Sawdust is the wood dust. You can take anything which is any material made up of wood. You have to do this activity at home and then you have to show me, okay? You will notice that some substances have completely disappeared or dissolved in the water. Okay? So now you can define them. We say that these substances are soluble in the water. Okay? So substances which are completely disappeared or dissolved in the water are called soluble substances. Right? Or other substances do not mix with the water and do not disappear even after the stirring. You kept on stirring for so long, but it didn't disappear. Okay, so what are they called? These substances are called insoluble, okay, in water. We are just seeing the substances whether they are dissolved in the water or not. Okay, we haven't seen any other liquid. We are just, because water is called universal solvent, so most of the substances are dissolved in the water and it is easily available, so we are taking the water. Okay, so water plays an important role in the functioning of our body because it can dissolve, very important, please underline children, it can dissolve a large number of substances. Okay, that is why it is called universal solvent. Okay, so this is called universal solvent. So what is the universal solvent? It is nothing but the water. Okay, and why it is called universal solvent? This is the question which can be asked. Water is called universal solvent. Give reason. So what will be the reason? Because it can dissolve a large number of substances. Okay. Do liquids also dissolve in water? Yes, of course, some liquids, of course. Oil can't be dissolved in the water, but rest of the liquids, they dissolve. Like vinegar, it can be dissolved. Yeah. So we are moving ahead. Activity number 5. Collect samples of, now we are looking at all the liquids. Do liquids dissolve in water or not? So what are we going to do? We are collecting the samples of different liquids. So they are vinegar, lemon juice, mustard oil, coconut oil, kerosene, or any other liquid which you have. Take a glass tumbler, fill it up to half with water. Add a few spoonfuls of one liquid to this and stir it well. Okay, what you have to do, you have to fill the glass or the tumbler with half, fill it half with the water, and then you add those liquids, 1 spoon of those liquids into that glass which is half full of water, and then you stir well. Let it stand for 5 minutes. Okay, you have to wait for 5 minutes and then you have to observe whether the liquid mixes with the water or not. Okay, repeat the same with other liquids as many different liquids are available to you, and write your observations in table 4.4. So here the table 4.4. I think everybody must have vinegar at home, lemon juice, mustard oil, coconut oil, and kerosene. I'm not sure because I don't have kerosene, rest all I have. So all you have to put it into the 1 spoon into the water, and you have to check after stirring, and then you have to wait for a few minutes. You have to let it stand for some time, and then you have to write down your observation. Then you write on mix as well, mixes, do not mix well, okay, mix well or not. So that's how you have to fill the mixes well or does not mix. That's how you have to write. Okay, children. Some liquids mix well with water while some other do not. Yeah. So Buju suggests that we also check if the liquids that we used in activity 5 mix well with some liquid other than water. Paheli is curious to know whether gas is also dissolved in water. So, some gases are soluble in water whereas others are not. Water usually has small quantities of some gases dissolved in it. For example, this is very important. Please underline. Children, underline this. For example, oxygen gas is dissolved in water. Okay? Oxygen gas dissolved in water is very important for the survival of the animal and the plants that are in the water, that live in the water. So we all know, children, that some aquatic plants and aquatic animals, they need oxygen. Every plants and animals, they all need an oxygen, right? They all need oxygen to survive, to respire. Since they are staying in the water, so for getting respiring, for getting the oxygen, what do they need? They need oxygen in the water. So already in the water there is dissolved oxygen all present. So these animals or the plants, they take the oxygen to survive, which is already dissolved in the water. So in the water oxygen is dissolved. So we all know that few gases are already dissolved in the water, right? So gases also get dissolved in the water. Okay, children?